Howdy, and welcome to LeeReads, where I talk about the books I've been reading and enjoying lately. I'm hoping that you allow me to indulge for a few minutes in telling you about a book, actually two books, that I read this past month that are part of a trilogy, and it's great, and I just want to shout about it and tell you all to read it if you enjoy adult fantasy. And this is one that I'm kicking myself because the trilogy is complete. The books have been out for a handful of years. I had the first book on my Kindle for years, and why did I wait so long before I read it? Mask of Mirrors by M.A. Carrick. The trilogy is called The Rook and the Rose. So I read the first book on ebook and immediately was like, I have to have that for my shelf. I listened to the second book, The Liar's Knot, on audiobook, and once I decided, yep, it doesn't have middle book syndrome, I still really love this, I went ahead and also bought the second book and the third for my shelf. Liar's Knot and Labyrinth's Heart. I haven't started Labyrinth's Heart yet, but I got the audiobook as well, so it's happening soon. Look how hefty these books are. Formerly, what I knew about Mask of Mirrors was that it was a story about a con woman named Ren. She grew up on the streets of this town, Nadezhra, which is where the story takes place. And when she was young, she and her adopted sister fled the city, and after 5 or 7 years or so are now returning in order to try to make a better life for themselves. And they want to do this by posing as an estranged noblewoman and her servant who are returning to their family home, the Tremontis house. And they want to try to convince the matriarch of this house that they are the daughter of a member that ran off. However, what they don't know is that the Tremontis house is really down on its luck. In fact, it's almost like they've been cursed. And so this may not actually be the best house to try to con their way into. So that's the premise of the story. It's placed in this very interesting city, Nadezhra. The Leganti people colonized the Venezians that lived there. So there's this tension in the city where you have sort of the upper crust of society, the one that Ren is trying to con her way into, are actually not necessarily native to that area, although it's taken place over a few hundred years, and so there are families that were born and grew up there. And then there are the more long-standing group of people who have been in the city for hundreds of years, and they have differing customs and religion that all start to tangle together. Ren is from Nadezhra, but she knows her mom's first Indian and she doesn't really know her dad's heritage, so she's kind of mixed. Other main characters that we're following is this criminal trying to go straight and get power within this society of the city, or at least he wants to appear as though he's become a straight businessman, but he still controls a lot of the street gangs and illicit trades within the city. His name is Vargo. And then there is a Virginian man named Gray who has joined the Vigil. They're like the police force of the city. And typically the people who are in the Vigil, they call them Hawks, are of the Leganti heritage. He wanted to join the Vigil to try to fix it from the inside out because he feels like it's corrupt and it's really unfair on his people, and so he's trying to do right by his people and sort of fix the institution from inside, being the Vigil. And he is investigating some children that have this mysterious sickness that is killing them, and it seems like no one else cares about these children. And of course these characters meet, their stories end up weaving together, and on top of that there is this master vigilante who loves the city and hates the upper crust of society, the nobles. This vigilante feels like they've corrupted the city and is working to thwart them. And nobody knows who this character is. It's like a title that's been passed down for hundreds of years, but the current person's identity is a secret. And of course, that's a layer of intrigue on the story. What is done so well is the characterizations. There's a lot of hidden identities, fake identities. I mentioned that Ren is a con woman, so she is herself, but she has to be in the persona of this noblewoman for most of the time, but is also trying to get more information to try to make her con better, and so she also sometimes is pretending to be this somewhat religious figure from the Vedran side. Maybe some of the people that she's interacting with, it could be the Rook. Is she right or not? It's not just about her trying to secure her position in this household. There is clearly something corrupt, something wrong in the city that has to do with the magic going on, and she and Vargo and Gray and the Rook all get brought into that. Really, if you've heard of Mask of Mirrors, if you like something that's political, like people say things but it might have a double meaning, intrigue going on, overarching story of trying to better the city that all of these characters love in their different ways. There's themes of all of the main characters, no one feels like they fit in exactly right because of their various backgrounds, and they're trying to prove themselves and become better, make something better of themselves, mixed in with a couple different types of cool magic and also somewhat of a potential love story that gets proposed in this first story. Anyway, I ate it up and I'm so eager to find out how the trilogy ends. I just wanted to shout about this trilogy that's really taken me by surprise. I hope that the last book concludes it very well. I've heard lots of great things about this trilogy, so I have high hopes that the last book will be very satisfying. We will get some answers to some growing questions, and I just hope that my little favorite characters are going to be okay, because some of these characters are so morally gray. You can understand why they're doing what they're doing, and it's like, but are you a good person? I'm not sure, and yet I still want you to succeed anyway. Like, yeah, it's a little bit complicated, but I think that's part of what makes the series really fun. So I encourage you to read Mask of Mirrors. The trilogy is complete, so you can marathon the trilogy if you would like. If you're interested in trying this book now, or you've read it, please tell me your thoughts down in the comments below so we can talk about it. This is a new favorite. I haven't had a series take me by storm like this since I read The Scholomance by Naomi Novik, and then before that it was the Dark of the West trilogy that I wanted more. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you will give the Rook and the Rose trilogy a try. And as always, don't forget to support your local library. Thanks.